Hi, welcome to the Wandering Peacock. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I actually kept Lavender alive, which has been a journey for me. Very funny and strange one. A lot of trials and tribulations of how I keep this alive in a zone that some say you're not even supposed to have it. It's too cold, climate and conditions aren't right, which we're in Connecticut in New England, zone 6. And this video is also going to be showing how I built a stone wall, which is one of the reasons I had thriving lavender, because they like these kind of conditions against a stone wall. These lavender in particular were donated by an estate that had a lot of resources, and they were actually killing it. And I planted it here years ago against a stone wall that was falling apart and kind of growing in sand in conditions where most things would die. And as you can see, it is thriving. So if you like this kind of content, please feel free to subscribe to this channel, Do It Yourself Deluxe on YouTube, and you could follow our Patreon. We also have a Instagram and TikTok under Wandering Peacock House, which is also our Airbnb. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and learn something about lavender. The initial lavender was given to us, and we just kind of planted it against this stone wall, which was dry stacked, but getting continuously hit by Amazon trucks and falling apart. As you can see in this little clip, the lavender grew towards the stone wall, and the lavender that was planted away from the stone wall just kind of died. So I had to take apart the wall to rebuild it. So it was dry stacked and didn't really do a good job with it. So now that I know more about stone masonry, I can really fix it. A little bit about dry stacking versus using mortar mix. A lot of people, masons love dry stacking, and I think if you know what you're doing, that is definitely an ideal way of making walls and structures. But for me, I like to mortar mix it in. I feel that it secures everything, and everything I've dry stacked, especially against a driveway, if a car hits it and it's dry stacked, it, in my experience, it kind of just falls apart like this one did. And I have sections of stone wall where it was continuously hit by plows and Amazon trucks. And when I use mortar mix, which is like a cement that ties the stone together, it really stays in my experience. So I prefer mortar mix. So the lavender that we got donated to us and planted against the wall was the first lavender I experienced, and it was a good experience. It really thrived. I took lavender that was dying from someone else and brought it to life in these kind of horrible sandy conditions against a stone wall. But I didn't really have success buying lavender and planting it out because I was planting in the wrong place. So lavender, they need well-drained sandy conditions, because in the wintertime especially, they don't like their feet getting wet and freezing. And I've noticed that they actually really like being near a stone wall. And an herbalist gardener told me that they like the reflection and the heat during the winter to just get that extra warmth from the stone. And I found that really to be the case. I actually planted out lavender in sandy conditions around my property, and they were dying. And then I put them in a stone planter that I made, and they actually bounced back to life. So it has not much to do with variety, in my opinion, because every variety seems to be liking the stone structures it was next to and not liking not having them. So yeah, I found that to be that they really like stone walls and being raised above to get that extra warmth from the stone and their roots not being wet. I also like to put stone around them. Where I live, there's areas where there's something called slag, which is you could find in riverbeds on against private properties where they have, you know, it's a byproduct from the iron industry, and it's like they look like gems, honestly, but they're a byproduct of an industrial waste. But they're really cool. Some of them look like emeralds or amethyst, and I like to collect them. My friend has property against a riverbed, so I collect them from there, and I put them in my garden beds with the lavender, just to get that extra reflection from the sun. And the lavenders really do enjoy these conditions. I wanted some purple kind of flowers to go behind the lavender, because lavender likes to be close to stone wall, but there was gaps behind it. So I went to the purple garden, where I really love purple foliage. But in the purple themed garden I'm creating, I just want to concentrate on purple foliage plants and edit out a lot of the purple flower plants that only bloom for a few weeks of the year. And there was some that were blocking this little moon window, so I decided to edit them out and move them into the lavender beds behind the lavenders. So if you like to know more about these different garden themes I'm creating, please leave a comment below. I have a moon garden garden in the back, and a berry fairy play garden for my children. So if you like that kind of content, please let me know, and I'll post more on those garden theme. So I'm actually really happy with how the stone wall came out and the planting, and I really think the lavender are going to really love it. I transplanted a lot of the lavender from the back to the front. You could probably see which ones those are, because they're a lot smaller and weaker and barely surviving, and I hope they like the conditions a lot better and thrive in their new home. So I hope you learned something about lavender and can use it in your own growing journey. Lavender is a living plant, so it might be different depending on climate and where you live. So I would like to hear your comments if you have any tricks to how you grow it. It's always interesting to get more information on plants. It seems to be such a vast field of knowledge growing things in general, and I hope you enjoy this content. And if you like this content, please feel to follow our Instagram, which is Wandering Peacock House, TikTok with the same name. We also have a Patreon, which is Do It Yourself Deluxe, which is the same name as this channel. So please subscribe and follow, and I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something about lavender.